Welcome to the BC Pension Corporation info session. Thank you so much for joining us. So this session is for those who have general questions about their pension plan. I'm Caitlin Espinosa for BC Pension Corporation, and I work on communications for MPP. I'll be moderating today, so please drop your questions into the Q&A and I'll share them with our specialist. Deepika is the expert we have with us today. Deepika, I'll hand over to you to introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. My name is Deepika, and I work with BC Pension Corporation as a benefit specialist. I'm going to answer your questions today. Welcome to the session. Thank you.
So we're here today to answer general questions about your pension. If you have specific questions about your situation, it is best to direct these to BC Pension via phone or message center in my account. Please note that everybody is muted, so you can ask questions through the Q&A function. When you send your message in the Q&A function, Deepika and I will see it, even though it doesn't show up in the chat, and I will read out the questions for Deepika to answer. A few housekeeping items. Closed captioning can be turned on by clicking the button at the bottom right of the Zoom window. And at the end of this session, when you leave, the AGM screen should still be available to you. Informational slides are starting at about 11:45, and then the meeting will begin at noon. So I'm going to just kick off first question for Deepika. That question is, can I take my money out of the plan as a lump sum instead of receiving a pension?
Sure, I will answer that question. It's mostly asked question, this one, and when members terminate their employment and when they are below the age of 55, or depending on the group they are registered under, enrolled under, they will be able to withdraw funds from the pension plan. Age 55, once they turn age 55, the only option is going to be lifetime monthly pension.
Great. I do see that some participants have raised their hand. If you've just joined us, please note that everybody is muted, and just type your question into the question answer thing at the bottom of your screen. It'll say Q&A, and then we'll see it and I'll read them out to Deepika. Okay. Another question for you, Deepika. This question is, can I get a letter that proves my pension income?
Yes, definitely. Members can request for the income verification letter that confirms their monthly pension or the gross amount or the net pension payments. They can request the letter from the My account. There is an option to request directly from the My account, or they can reach out to us over the phone and request for the income verification letter.
Okay, great. We have a few more questions already coming our way. So when somebody is ready to retire and receive their retirement benefits, they're wondering if at that time, if they can take a meeting with somebody at the pension plan.
Yes, definitely. There is an option for booking an appointment for 30 minutes with one of our representatives or a specialist. They can book an appointment and speak with us about their pension options and how to complete the application package. Yes, they definitely be able to book an appointment and speak with us.
Okay, and how do they book that appointment?
That information is available on the website. When they go onto the website under Learning Resources, the option for booking an appointment is available.
Okay, great. So we also have somebody who's wondering how, if they work for full-time for a period of time and then they opt to work part-time before retirement, how would that affect their pension?
Sure, I can answer that question. When they work full-time, they will be able to get the maximum pensionable service of 12 months of the pensionable service. And when they switch to part-time, they may collect how much ever the time they're working, they'll get only that much of pensionable service. Okay, and because when pension is calculated using the highest average salary and the pensionable service, it may affect their pensionable payments, but they can run an estimate using the pension estimator in my account and see how their pension is changing with full-time pensionable service and part-time pensionable service.
Great. And we have somebody wondering, what are the health benefit options for retired members?
So there are health benefit options like extended health care and dental benefit options available for the retired members. And a lot of information is available on our general website under retirement health coverage section. They can download the coverage booklet or the brochure and find out the information about what is the coverage they will receive when they apply for health benefits through the pension plan.
Wonderful. Okay, we have another person who's wondering if they could still work and collect their pension and what the options are there.
Yes, definitely. Once the plan member retires from their existing position and start collecting pension, they can definitely go back to the work and they can still continue to collect their pension, monthly pension.
Mm-hmm. And if they do that, would they still be allowed to contribute?
No, once they start collecting the pension, the retired members, they won't be able to contribute to the same pension plan. By chance, if they get enrolled into the different pension plan, they may be able to contribute to that pension plan, not to the municipal pension plan anymore.
Okay. We have somebody wondering where severance packages come from, the pension or the employer, but I think they're just talking about severance packages for when they leave their job.
Yes, when it comes to the severance package, it is from their employer. They need to speak with them to find out more information about that.
Okay, and here's somebody who's wondering about collecting their pension abroad. If they are living abroad, but they keep their Canadian bank account, is that a good option for collecting their pension quite easily?
It is pretty straightforward. Yes, they can live anywhere anywhere else in the world, but they still continue to collect the pension from us. Yes, monthly pension payments go to the bank account, the information they provide to us.
Okay. So we have somebody wondering what the current premium rates for extended health care and the dental rates are, and what the cost sharing percentage might be.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I can definitely give that information. And again, the same information is available on the general website under retirement health coverage section under the premiums. I will give you that information quickly here. So for extended healthcare, there is only one option, but when it comes to the dental, there are two options. There are two tiers. One is essential and second one is enhanced dental care. And for extended healthcare, it is subsidized premiums depending on the pensionable service the members have. The premiums are subsidized. I can put that quick link in the question and answer session so that it will be easy to find out that information.
Okay, and also I did see a few participants raising their hands. So if you've just joined us, please note that everybody is on mute except for Deepika and myself. And if you have a question, please just type it into the Q&A function on the bottom of your screen. I'll see it and I'll read out the question for Deepika so she can answer it.
So I sent a quick link from the website in the chat to find the extended healthcare premiums depending on the pensionable service the plan members have. And now I sent information about dental premiums.
Okay, great. So I have somebody asking more about their specific situation. Please note that we are not answering questions about your specific situation. If you have a question about that, please contact the plan through my account or call. However, they are wondering how they decide the best time to retire. Is there anything they can use to calculate what their pension might be at retirement?
Sure, they can definitely use the pension estimator option that is available in the My Account. Under estimate section, they can run unlimited pension estimates and compare the numbers from one age to another age, and they can decide which works for them the best one, the retirement age, and they can apply for their pension.
Super. Okay. So I have somebody who is on long-term disability and they're wondering if there's anything they should be aware of or if there's any implications for that.
So when members are on long-term disability and it is approved long-term disability, it is deemed to be they deemed to be benefits are getting paid into the pension plan. The contributions are paid into the pension plan, and they will accrue pensionable service or contributory service like regular pension plan member. There wouldn't be any changes in their pensionable service.
Okay. We have somebody asking if there is a way to be proactive about their pension because they don't plan on retiring for about 30 years. So we've got a younger member asking about that.
Proactive in the sense they can run an estimate and look into the estimates from one age to, they can run an estimate for the age 55 or the age 60 and 65 and compare the numbers, how their pension is changing.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about what leaves are available to purchase especially for a younger member?
So depending on the leaves has to be approved by their employer. When there is a leave of absence that is approved by the employer, plan members will be able to buy back that missing service. And how they run an estimate for the pensions, there is another estimator called Purchase of Service Estimator that is available in estimate section in My Account. They can, if there is a leave of absence, once they come back from that leave, they will be able to run an estimate and find how much it is going to cost them and how much the pension is going to change with the buying back that missing service. They can find all that information by running an estimate using Purchase of Service Cost Estimator.
Great. I have somebody who's wondering about temporary annuities and retiring earlier than age 65 and how a temporary annuity would work for calculation of pension payments after the age of 65.
So temporary annuity is an additional benefit if members would like to receive higher pension payments before the age of 65. They can opt for the temporary annuity. It is temporary annuity or the bridge benefit. Both are the benefits that are available for the plan members until the age of 65. Once member turns age 65, they will continue to receive only lifetime monthly pension payments. Depending on the situations, member can opt for the additional benefits.
Okay. So then that pension payment with the additional gone at the age of 65 would then look reduced because the member would essentially be borrowing against their own pension payments before that age. Is that correct?
Correct. And again, please keep in mind the bridge benefit. There are changes in the plan rules effective January 1st, 2022. So there is no longer bridge benefit for the service they're going to accrue after the plan rule changes. With any service they have accrued before the plan rule changes, the bridge benefit is still get calculated and they will be able to see those amounts when they're below the age of 65.
Great. So we have somebody who's wondering if they leave the plan and are under 55. I think they're wondering about commuted values, if they can request a lump sum payment. And then if that's the case, do they receive the portion, just their own portion or the employer's portion as well?
So when plan members terminate the employment when they're below the age of 55, they receive a statement called termination selection statement. On that statement, they will receive the commuted value amounts. We follow the Income Tax Act rule and provide those amounts. Some of the amounts has to go into logged in retirement account and remaining amount will be received as a lump sum payment. And the pension is mostly calculated only with the accrued pensionable service and the highest average salary. It doesn't, the contributions do not reflect any value of their pension.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, we have somebody who's wondering about how the formula is calculated in terms of service. So if your years of service, do they include when you go on leave, including maternity leave or other types of leave? Does that affect your hours, your leaves of service? And do you have therefore a gap in your pensionable service?
Yes, definitely. If you have a leave of absence, if you haven't bought that leave of absence, yes, you will have a gap in your pensionable service. If you applied and bought that leave of absence, then you will accrue the pensionable service you have missed.
Okay. We have somebody who's wondering about timelines of deciding on their retirement options. So they're trying to choose. And so if they choose, for example, a joint option, if they wanted to change their mind afterwards, what is the time period for that?
We provide the timelines on the advice statement. Once we finalize the pension, we send a statement called advice statement. On that, we give them 60 days time to change their pension option. There are some eligibility rules applied to that, changing the monthly pension options. If they chose joint life pension option, 100% joint life option, they can go down to 60% joint life option, not to the single life pension option.
Okay. We have somebody else who's asking about working past the age of retirement after they've retired. So continuing to work after they've drawn their pension. And they're wondering if there's some sort of period that they need to be without work in order for them to start receiving their pension, and where else they could maybe find some information about this.
Okay, the information again is available on our general website under Return to Work for the retired members section. And we always advise, it is not a mandatory rule, but we always advise members to wait until they receive the first pension payment to avoid any confusions to go back to their work, return to work.
Okay. So let's see. We have a few people who are asking about the differences in the 5, 10, and 15-year options when you retire. So if you could talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Sure. So the 5, 10, 15-year guarantee periods are applied for their beneficiaries. Pension payments are paid for the plan member's lifetime. If something happens to them within the guarantee period they chose, then for the remaining guarantee period, pension payments will be paid to their nominated beneficiaries. Depending on the option they selected, 5, 10, 15, the remaining guarantee period will be confirmed.
Okay, great. I just want to remind everybody who has just joined that we're here today in this particular session to answer general questions about your pension. So if you have specific questions about your situation, it is best to direct these to BC Pension, either by phone or by message center in my account. Same thing for questions that are perhaps more suited to the board and the AGM today. So this session is really just for general questions about your pension. So we have somebody who's asking if they can still be on Blue Cross after retirement. Perhaps you can explain a little bit about the differences between the health benefits when you're employed and the health benefits available to you when you retire.
Sure, no problem. So members can, this is optional benefits, right? So plan members can choose whether they would like to enroll into the health benefits coverage through the pension plan when they apply for their retirement. In case if they are covered with some other health benefits coverage, they can decline the coverage through the pension plan. But when they do have continuous coverage, at later date, they will be able to apply and get the coverage through the pension plan.
Okay, great. That somewhat answers the next question, which was, can you change your medical or dental plans, or do you have to only stay with what you choose at the retirement time?
So for the extended healthcare, it's the only one option. It is up to the plan member whether they would like to get the coverage through the pension plan or not. But when it comes to the dental plan, there are two tiers. One is essential and another one is enhanced. When the member gets enrolled into the essential dental plan, in order to get the other coverage to the coverage of enhanced, they should remain on the dental essential coverage for 2 years before changing the coverage to enhanced. In case if the plan member get enrolled into the enhanced dental coverage, it is they cannot downgrade to essential. They should continue with only the enhanced dental plan.
Okay, great. So we do have somebody asking about timelines again for deciding to retire. So they're wondering if it makes a difference what time of year you retire. For example, if you decide to retire January 1st, or whether you decide to retire June 1st.
No, there won't be any difference in the month what they choose. It is up to the member and their situation when they would like to apply for their pension and start collecting their pension. Again, they can run unlimited pension estimates and compare the numbers and choose which date works for them the best one.
Okay. Somebody else is wondering how the highest average salary is calculated in an example where the previous 5 years were worked part-time, but the prior 20 years were worked full-time. So how does that affect everything?
Highest average, again, service and salary information will be shared by the employer. And highest average salary, if we will, it doesn't have to be continuous salary from the between the 5 years of highest average salary. It can be anywhere else from the own career. The highest average salary can be taken if they're part-time. We will consider like 60 months of highest average salary, or full-time it is 5 years. It equals to the 60 months of highest average salary.
Okay. Somebody else is wondering what the income tax implications are for pension payments that are received.
Okay. And we follow CRA guidelines and imply taxes on pension payments. So we don't know whole situation, income situation of the plan members, and we follow CRA guidelines, whatever income tax it is applicable. We hold the taxes on the pension payments, and the remaining amounts will be paid as the pension payment for them. And if they would like to change the income tax on their pension payments after started receiving the pension, they can reach out to us in writing and request for increase or decrease of the income taxes.
Okay.
There is a process. Yeah.
We have another question about living abroad in retirement. If you live abroad and you are drawing from your pension benefits and you don't have a Canadian bank account, does the plan transfer to international bank accounts?
Yes, definitely. We are tied up with Western Union, and there is information available on the website how to receive the payments through the international payments for the pension. They can follow the steps and set up an account with Western Union, and we deposit international pension payments.
Great. We also have somebody wondering how soon they ought to be applying for retirement if they have a specific retirement date in mind. What's the timeline there?
Oh, okay. Within the 90 days of their pension effective date, they will be able to initiate the process of online retirement application. So it is 7 steps to complete. If member is eligible to do an online retirement application, the process is available in my account. And when their pension effective date is within 90 days, they can initiate the process, starting online retirement application.
Okay. We also have somebody else wondering if there is a vesting period for employer contributions, and if so, what is that?
So once the member enrolls into the pension plan, their contributions are vested right away.
And the employer's contributions as well.
Exactly. Again, the contributions do not reflect the value of the pension. We can only talk about certain percentage, the percentage the employers are contributing to the pension plan. They both are pooled, and the pension is calculated using pensionable service and highest average salary.
Great. We have another question about long-term disability and whether or not you can take an early payout or whether you can postpone your pension start date.
Depending on their situation, if they terminate their employment, they can leave funds in the pension plan, and whenever they are ready to apply for their pension, they can initiate that process. If they're on long-term disability, that means they are considered as an active member and contributions into the pension plan. So they will continue to receive their pensionable service and contributory service like normal pension active plan member.
Great. We have somebody who's wondering when cost of living allowances for the following year will be announced.
It will be announced in the month of January. Information will be available on the general website about the historical rates of cost of living adjustments on the plan members' pension. At the same time, on their annual statement, we will advise about cost of living adjustment information for the year 2025.
Okay. And just a reminder, if you've just joined us, we are here to answer general pension questions. If you have a specific question about your situation, it is best to contact the plan either phone or through my account. So we have somebody who's wondering about beneficiaries and whether or not pensions transfer to their spouse if they were to pass away.
So if the plan member has a spouse is automatically the primary beneficiary. They will be considered as a primary beneficiary. And if they're a retired member, and if they choose to collect the pension as 100% joint life pension option, plan member receives their pension for their lifetime. And in case if they pass away, spouse will continue to receive the plan member's pension for their lifetime. It is for 2 lifetimes when it comes to the joint life pension option.
Great. Also, if they have a relationship status that changes while they're retired, are they able to change? Let's say they got married after retirement. Would they be able to change their benefits coverage to include a spouse or partner?
Yes, depending on the situation, if they're legally married or became a common law partner after they collect pension, there are rules applicable, but we will look into the situation and advise them. They can apply for the coverage for the new spouse.
Okay. So we also have somebody wondering how a temporary annuity is different from a bridge amount.
So temporary annuity is an additional benefit. Okay, that if members require certain additional amounts before the age of 65, they are eligible to collect that temporary benefit. They can add that to their pension. Whereas bridge benefit is included in the formula when they contribute to the pension plan. Bridge benefit is included and the formula is different. Temporary annuity is situational. If they would like to collect certain higher amounts before the age of 65, they can choose that temporary annuity amounts. It is like bridging old age security or old age security amounts kind of thing, because after they turn age 65, they are eligible to receive old age security or Canada Pension Plan benefits, right?
Great. So somebody is wondering how many years you can contribute to the plan. Is there a limit on that or an age cutoff?
Yes. Until they reach the age, like 35 years of pensionable service, members can contribute to the pension plan. After they reach 35 years of pensionable service, they're no longer able to contribute. But when we calculate their pension, their employer continues to report their service and salary information. They won't increase their pensionable service, but they are eligible. When we calculate the pension, we consider their highest average salary information.
Okay. We've got a couple of people wondering about transferring service. So if you have worked for another public service employer and you have a membership in another public service pension plan, can you potentially transfer it to MPP?
Yes, if there is an agreement between both the pension plan, yes, they will be able to transfer service from one plan to another plan. There are eligibility rules applied for that too. So they can contact us and request for more information. We will look into their file and help them with next steps.
Great. So I'm still seeing some questions here that are specific to people's own personal experiences. So if you would like your question answered specifically to your own experience, I'm trying to read them out as generally as possible. But if you would like follow-up answers or you would like your question answered to your own specific experience, it really is best to contact the plan either through my account or you can give them a phone call.
And I see one general question about, can we claim the premiums, premium expenses in the tax return? The answer is yes, they can claim those premiums. When we, every year in the month of January for the retired members, we send T4A slip that premiums information will be available on that, and they can claim those premiums expense on the taxes.
Okay. And another question about beneficiaries. If somebody is married, but they also have a child, could they put their child as a beneficiary as well as their spouse?
Yes, they can nominate two beneficiaries. If they select the option of 60% joint life option with the guarantee period, and spouse remains as a primary beneficiary, and they can nominate their kid as an alternate beneficiary. In case anything happens to the spouse within the guarantee period, alternate beneficiaries become the primary beneficiary until the guarantee period is up.
Great. There are quite a few questions about retirement benefits. I do want to point out that we still have about 10 minutes of time in these information sessions, and there is a concurrent information session going on where members can learn more about their benefits because we have the benefits expert in that session. So if you just head over to the other info session, you may be able to get a more comprehensive answer by popping your question in the chat over there. Okay, so we do have somebody asking if the municipal pension plan is just available within BC or if it's Canada-wide. I think they're talking about in active employment. So perhaps you could talk about what region MPP covers if you are employed.
So BC Municipal Pension Plan is a provincial pension plan. So if they are employed, if their employer is registered with the municipal pension plan, members as an employee, they will get registered into municipal pension plan. It is only available in BC. That is the question, right, Caitlin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I sent a link about beneficiaries information that is available on the general website. It has a lot of information in there. If you would like to go through the beneficiaries, how it affects the pension or how you can change the beneficiaries, everything is very member-centric information is available.
Okay. I have somebody who's asking whether or not RRSPs can be transferred to their municipal pension plan.
So they cannot contribute to the pension plan privately. The pension contributions will come into the plan when they get enrolled into the pension plan, and the contributions will be deducted from their salary.
Okay.
But in case if they are looking to buy back any missing service, yes, they would be able to use their RRSP amounts and make those payments to buy back those leave of absence payments.
So somebody is asking about the payments themselves and wondering if pension payments are deposited monthly or biweekly.
It is deposited every month. By a second last working day of every month, pension payments will be deposited into their bank account. The first pension payment, when they receive their first pension payment, only that time the payment will be deposited into their account on last working day of that month. After that, every last second working day of every month, they will receive their pension.
Okay, so we have somebody who's asking about if they've just started receiving their pension, are they eligible for the any cost of living increases that might be granted? And could you explain about that and the fact that for people who have just retired, it is prorated?
Yes, definitely it is prorated, and the months they receive their pension, cost of living adjustments are applicable on those amounts.
Okay.
On the months of their pension payment.
And once they've been retired a full calendar year, then that year they will.
Full cost of living adjustment will be applied on their pension payments. I will put a quick link about the cost of living adjustments information from the website as well, so that it will be handy.
Okay. So I have somebody else who's asking about living abroad again, this time in the US, and whether or not the pension would be deposited in Canadian or US funds.
It's always the funds will be sent in Canadian funds. They can choose which bank account. The funds are deposited in Canadian only. Depending on the bank account, they will receive the amounts on their end with that currency, but payments will be sent as a Canadian amounts only.
Okay. We have somebody wondering if they could collect pension money before retirement and whether or not there are any circumstances that would allow for that.
Yes, there is a circumstance if they're diagnosed with any terminal illness and it is causing short-term life expectancy, they would be able to withdraw funds from the pension plan. Again, they can reach out to us and we will be able to explain what are the next steps going to be and what information is required.
Okay. Another member is wondering what happens to any contributions left over if somebody has passed away. So I think they mean if they pass away before they're able to retire.
Okay. Again, it is depending on the situation. If there is a spouse that is on the file for the plan member, spouse is eligible to receive a monthly pension for their lifetime. The contributions will be calculated as a 100% joint life pension option, and the spouse is eligible to receive monthly pension for their lifetime. And if there is no spouse and there is a nominated beneficiary will receive the contributions are calculated as a commuted value, and the amounts will be paid to the beneficiary. In case if there is no spouse, there is no beneficiary, nominated beneficiary, that means plan members' estate will become automatically their beneficiary, and if they pass away, the amounts will be paid to their estate.
Okay, great. Somebody is wondering if there is any information on the website about who the employers are for the municipal pension plan.
Yes, the registered employers, right? Mm-hmm. That information is available on the website under employers section. I can send the quick link to find the information.
Okay. And while you do that, I'm actually just going to answer a question because it's about this particular webinar. Okay. Yes, there will be a recording of this, as well as the other Q&A webinar, as well as the AGM itself, posted to the plan website. Because you have registered for these events, you will get an email telling you when that's been posted. So yes, the recordings are available as soon as we post them on the plan website. And if you have registered for this event and you received email confirmations and everything, then you'll also receive an email letting you know when it's been posted. Okay, I do have somebody wondering about the dental plan through MPP versus the new Canadian Dental Care Plan, and what I think the differences are, and perhaps whether or not they would be eligible.
So this question, because whether they are eligible, once they're eligible to receive the health benefit coverage through their own pension plan, provincial or any other pension plan, they won't be able to get enrolled into the federal dental plan. They need to speak with them directly and find out that information.
Okay, and we have quite a few people wondering about the plan changes that were in effect as of 2022 and how it's different from the previous calculation of 90.
There's so much information available, and the videos are available with the plan rule changes on the general website. I can, because it's situational and it changes, right? If somebody is having service before the plan rule changes January 1st, 2022, that contributions will be calculated with the old pension formula, and the contributions they're making after the plan rule changes January 1st, 2022 is we are using the new pension formula. I will put that information, the information that is available on the plan changes about the videos and more information here in the chat, the quick link on the website, from the website.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, I do have somebody wondering if they can adjust their pension. I'm not entirely sure what they mean by that, but perhaps they mean whether or not they can adjust the contributions that they make themselves.
No, it is an automatic contribution that is set by the trustee. They cannot change or contribute privately to the pension plan.
Okay, so we have about 1 more minute left on this. Please note that if we haven't answered your question, you can always contact the plan either through My Account Message Center or you can call with your question, and our professionals are very happy to answer it.
I'm going to put a quick link about all our information, like the phone numbers to contact and how to go to the My Account registration or logging into My Account. I shared contact us page to reach out to us to find the phone numbers.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
That is
Thank you so much.
And thank you, Deepika, for answering everybody's questions.
Thanks, Caitlin. Happy to. If anybody have any questions, please reach out to us. We are happy to answer all their questions.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.